you can start, sir.
So Saikma?
I have given, sir. I have given the permission to share screen, sir.
Okay. So we have seen the list of machineries required for a basic 1000 kpd biogas plant. So we have been there with the crushers and the crusher waste collection tank and the pre-digester and then so what is the use of pre-digester in the sense? So it increases the efficiency of the secondary digester. That is what happens. So because in digestion, anaerobic digestion, 4 processes it is happening. One is hydrolysis, and then acidogenesis, and then acetogenesis and methanogenesis. So where the complex substances are break down into simple substances through hydrolysis. This hydrolysis and then this acetogenesis happens in the pre-digestion. So again, these 2 processes are completed in the pre-digester. Again, it is taken for secondary digester, means where the secondary digester volume is reduced and then the efficiency is also increased. So that is the reason where we are. So and then one more advantage, if these climatic conditions are very low, and then if you want to reduce the digester retention time, and then if you want to increase the OLR, organic loading rate of the secondary digester, you can use primary digester. And then you cannot go for entire heating the heating the secondary digester entirely. So because secondary digester volume is huge, so I don't have that much power. But again, we are wasting the electricity for heating the digester means. So this much volume, for example, if it is 1 ton means 50 cubic meter, 60 cubic meter of slurry to be heated means, then more power is required. So what happens? So what we can do, we can reduce the secondary digester, and then we can go for a primary digester. We can heat the primary digester, and then the heated primary digester where the hydrolytic and then acidogenic processed waste can be from the primary digester can be transferred to the secondary digester. And then we can have a mixing system in primary pre-digester also using pump mixing, pump recirculation, or mechanical agitator mixing. And then the main anaerobic digester, and then the digester mixing arrangements. If it is the digester volume is bigger, and then we have to go for submersible mixers. So if your digester volume is smaller for 1 ton, 2 ton, and then 3 ton, we can go for a open central top mounted or lateral side mounted mixing systems. If your secondary digester is bigger, if it is 500 cubic meter, 1000 cubic meter, or 4000 cubic meter, then you have to go for a submersible mixers. And then digestate collection tank, which is overflow collection tank, and the digestate tank mixing arrangements. And then feed pump for recirculation. And then there we have seen the moisture trap to remove the condensates, and then to trap the condensate, and then desulfurization to remove the hydrogen sulfide using activated carbon. And the flow meter where we are using diaphragm. This gas storage balloon. Gas storage balloon, it is a balloon, it is made up of PVC coated fabric. We simply call it as a tarpaulin. It is a PVC coated fabric we can be used, and then PVDF can be used, and then a neoprene coated fabric can be used. And then gas boosters. So if you want to, if you need a high pressure, then you have to go for compressor. If your pressure is required in application for more than 1 bar, then you need to go for a compressor. And then if your pressure requirement is 1 bar and less than 1 bar, then you need to go for a twin lobe boosters. You can choose twin lobe boosters. And then the gas receiver tank, based on your requirement and then storage, you can decide a gas receiver tank. And then the canteen gas burner. So biogas needs a separate burner. It cannot be directly utilized in LPG burners. So biogas density, and then calorific value, and then add to the fuel mixing ratio, everything is different. So we need a separate biogas burner. And then gas flaring unit. If your storage is full and then you don't have the utilization, and then so then what is the volume on the amount of gas generated, excess gas generated, that can be flared in the gas flaring unit. So in the control panel, and then the balloon inflation deflation level sensors. For example, if the balloon is full, and then if it is fully filled, the gas is fully stored in the balloon means, then the balloon pressure, the balloon cannot withstand high pressure. So the balloon can withstand a pressure up to of 10 millibar. So if it is exceeding 10 millibar, then there is a pressure transmitter. Then using this pressure transmitter, you can sense the pressure, and then you can close the main line. You have to use auto valves to divert the auto. Main line has to be closed, bypass line has to be open. So flaring, and then if the bypass line is open, then the flaring will be automatically flared. So the gas will be ignited automatically. And then the gas booster, pressure level sensors, based auto operation and cutoff, and then temperature controllers. So wherever you are having the heating system, you can see the temperatures. And then outgoing this intermediate slurry
இல்ல
line.
யாருனே தெரியல, ரிஃப்ளெக்டே ஆகல. அங்கதான் இருக்கும்.
It is, and then shed where for balloon, and then panel, and then the slurry flow meters. So electromagnetic, and then pH meter. If it is required, you want to check the pH meter by inline, or if you want in portable meter means you can check. And then if you want to separate the solids and liquids means, then you can go with filter press or screw press. And then if you need electrical heater, then you can have a heating system. Then optional online analyzers or portable analyzers to check the biogas composition, and then gas flow meters and other laboratory equipment. Other laboratory equipments means you have to find the total solids and then volatile solids. Main two equipments required is you have to find the total solids. We need a what is this oven, and then to find the volatile solids we need a muffled furnace. That's all. So this is the PND of the 1000 kPD biomethanation plant. So where you can see the starting table pressure, and then pump where it is pumped via the electric heating system to the digester, and then the gas generated is measured via flow meter, and then it is transferred to balloon via the H2O scrubber. So you can see the process.
சார் எக்ஸ்கியூஸ் மீ சார், நீங்க சொன்ன அந்த டிஸ்ப்ளே ஆகல சார்.
சாய்குமார், மிஸ்டர் சாய்குமார்.
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
இந்த ஸ்கிரீன் உங்களுக்கு தெரியுதா? Can you able to do this?
இந்த உங்க டெஸ்க்டாப் மீட்டிங் தெரியுது சார். நீங்க எக்ஸ்பிளைன் ஏதோ பண்ணும்போது அந்த அது தெரியல சார். ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியுது சார், உங்க ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியுது. பயோகேஸ் பிளான்ட் 1 TPD PPT தேராதூன் ப்ராஜெக்ட் மாடல்.
ஓ, இது தெரியலங்களா?
தெரியல சார், நீங்க செலக்ட் பண்ணலன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
இப்போ
வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க சார். வந்துருச்சு சார்.
ஓகே. This is the process flow, and this is the 1001 TPD anaerobic digester. You can see this. Mr. Sai Kumar? So this is one of the process flow what we have installed in Central Leather Research Institute in CLRI in Adayar. This is the fully automated 500 kpd biomethanation plant. So where this vegetable waste, municipal solid waste collected, and then the slaughterhouse waste. Mr. Sai Kumar? Mr. Sai Kumar?
Tell me, sir. Tell me, sir.
Can you able to do this CLRI project, this 500 kpd project? Process flow diagram.
பார்க்க முடியல sir.
Now you can able to do this.
Purification unit, H2S scrubber, desiccant filter தான sir?
Yes. கீழ நீங்க you can see that the right side corner, that is client is CLRI Adayar.
தெரியுது sir.
Okay, can you able to, this is 500 kpd fully automated R&D biomethanation plant that we have installed in CLRI. So where the raw materials what we are using is, we are using market vegetable waste and then slaughterhouse waste. Slaughterhouse waste means we are using rumens, and then blood waste. Apart from this, we are using this banana pedangle, and then we are using paddy straw, and then we are using corn stover. Because the shredder, this is sorting table we are segregating, and then it is from the sorting table segregated waste is conveyed using belt conveyor, and then it is shredded in the shredder. So where the shredder will reduce the particle size to less than 20 mm, and then the shredded waste again it is transferred via this agar feeding screw pump to the extruder. So where the extruder will again reduce the particle size to less than 5 mm. So this reduced this is the extruder, that is a twin shaft shredder, it is a twin shaft extruder. This extruder will reduce the particle size from 20 mm to less than 5 mm. Again, using this, it is collected in the hopper in the pump 2. What we are having is, it is a feeding screw pump, agar pump. Without adding the water, it is the dry feeding. It is a dry feeding. We are not adding any water or digestate. Again, it is directly fed into it is horizontal digester. So where we have been installed these 2 agitators in the horizontal digester. It is also a CSTR digester. That is a ready-made digesters. It is we call it as a containerizer type. So where we can take these digesters, we can transport these digester to anywhere using the trailer. We can transport the digester, and then we are having the heaters. We have been inserted. That is what is ceramic heaters. In 1, 2, and 3, 4 heaters we are installed at the bottom of the digester to maintain the digester temperature, and then it is insulated. So it is insulated outside the digester, it is insulated, and then the digestate overflow is there, and the gas generated, it is passed through the moisture trap, and then where the gas is measured using the flow meter, where you are using the ultrasonic flow meter, and then after this we are using the auto operated valves to divert when the gas is storage balloon is full, and then the gas is diverted to the flaring unit. It is auto flaring unit, and then from this raw biogas balloon we are having the differential pressure transmitter, where the pressure transmitter it senses the pressure. When the balloon is full, it diverts it closes the main line and opens the bypass line for the auto flaring unit. And then where the gas from the raw biogas balloon, it is taken by the booster for purification unit. Again it is stored in the pure biogas balloon. So it is a fully automated plant. So this feeding pump 1, screw pump 1, screw pump 2 operation, and then we are maintaining the pH. So the pH is continually monitored, and then temperature is continually monitored, and then it is recorded, and then the flow is also continuously monitored and then recorded, and then the pressure in the balloon is also continuously monitored and recorded. And then we are having these portable gas analyzers to measure the gas composition, biogas composition, where you have measured the biogas generated it is coming around 56%, and then carbon dioxide it is somewhat around 31%, and then the hydrogen sulfide in the biogas plant is we have been measured around 4,200 ppm of hydrogen sulfide. I can share you the photos also. This is the Mr. Sai Kumar. Can you able to view this?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Sai Kumar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the plant installed in CLRI, Central Electricity.
Sir, but you just placed a cursor
Okay.
over that picture,
This is
sir.
the
But
yes.
you have not enlarged
Yeah,
the
this is
picture, sir.
okay.
No, sir. Not can be viewed, sir. Not yet viewed, sir.
Can you able to do this now?
Wait a minute, sir. Justice. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the digester. There is horizontal CSTR type containers type digesters. So where it is the conveyor is there. So where where this shredder, it is feeding to the shredder, where it is shredded, and then it is collected in the hopper where the feeding screw, that is auger pump, it is feeding into the extruder, where this where again the particle size is reduced from 20 less than 20 mm to say from 20 mm to less than 5 mm. So this 5 mm particle size is collected in this hopper, where it is also having, we are installed this feeding screw auger pump. This feeding screw auger pump transfer this waste, that is solid waste, dry waste, into the digester from the top. So where we have two agitators, agitator 1 and 4 mixing, and the gas we are having a outlet. So it is master trap, and then this is the ultrasonic flow meter. So we are measuring the gas generated, and it is measured in, and then here we are using the auto operated valves. So we are having auto operated valves, solenoid valves, and then manual bypass valves also for emergency purpose. Two lines, it is flaring unit line, and then one is gas raw biogas balloon line. So and then this is raw biogas balloon, and then this is the pure biogas balloon, storage balloon. So this is where it is, the outlet is collected in the digestate collection tank. So we are having this pump. This pump will transfer the digestate to the solid liquid separator. So solid liquid separator, we don't have this photograph now because it is installed in later, after 1 or 2 months later. So why this plant will be handling any types of organic waste. Any types of organic waste means we can use corn stubble, we can use paddy straw, and then you can use leather waste, and then leather trimmings, and then flushings, and then we can use municipal solid waste, you can use vegetable waste, we can use what is this what is any bagasse also, we can use bagasse, and then we can use poultry litter, cow dung, and then slaughterhouse waste, rumen, blood waste. We can use any kind of organic matter on this. We can use dry leaves also on this. But it should be ensure that there should not be any foreign particles like stones, plastics, and then inert materials like glasses, steel particles should not be there. It should be avoided because it is dry digestion. Dry digestion means because the vegetable waste will have naturally it will be having 90% moisture, and then it is having very less total solids. It will be having 10% TS, and sometimes it will be in cucumber we are having 5% TS, and then if it is a carrot it is having 90% TS and 10% 90% moisture and 10% TS. So the optimum TS for the digester is, so 10 to 15% total solids it is recommended. It is ranging from 7 to 15%. 7 to 15% total solids, it is the range it is recommended for feeding into the digester. And then where we are having this pH, so we are measuring the pH, that is continuous on monitored pH we are monitoring, and then it is ORP also we are monitoring pH and ORP. this is what the plant we have installed for mother dairy fruits and vegetables. This is 50 TPD plant, 50 tons per day fruit waste plant. So where the gas generator, so it is utilized for furnace oil replacement. So where they are having 3 tons, 2 numbers of furnace oil fired boiler. So 3 tons into 2 numbers. So each it is consuming 180 liters of furnace oil per hour. So and then we are replacing substituting, we are replacing furnace oil, and then we are using biogas powered boilers for steam generation. So where the biogas consumed is 400 cubic meter per hour is required instead of 180 liters furnace oil. This is we are using where this in season mango waste is they are processing mango, and then they are processing tomato, and then they are processing grapes, and then guava, and then banana. So where the peels and then the pulp residual waste, it is utilized for gas generation, and then it is used for boiler thermal fuel, replacing fossil fuels, furnace oil. So where the waste is collected from the factory through conveyor, and then it is dumped here in this hopper. From the hopper, it is transferred via screw conveyor, and then to the storage hopper. From there, it is taken for processing. So where again it is shredded, and then it is collected, and then it is agitated, and then it is sent to the main digesters. 2 digesters we are having 25 tons into 2 numbers. So where we are using all types of fruit waste, processed fruit waste, industrial fruit waste. Mr. Sai Kumar?
Tell me, sir.
Actually, so any doubts, any questions, it will be helpful for to go move ahead. It will be interacting, means it will be go.
Okay, so just ask. Participants, if you have any doubts regarding the presentation provided by Mr.
No, not only the presentation. So apart from this, so related to biogas, related to process, anything regarding these economics, feasibility, and then viability, and then anything.
Participants, if you have any doubts, you can ask now. Just put your question upon the chat box. I'll just convey it to sir. If any participants are having doubts, just type it in the chat box. I'll just convey it, and we'll get the doubts cleared. Participants can post their questions in the chat box. If you have any doubts, you can just ask now. I'll just ask on your behalf. Sir, one question they have asked, sir, her name is Shobhana Saravanan. Here,
Okay.
Is the same digester is used for all the types of waste products, or is there a separate one for each of those? The same digester used for all types of waste products or not?
Yeah, yes. The digester is same. It remains same. Only thing is the feeding ratio will vary. Feeding ratio means, for example, if you are taking cow dung will be having more moisture, and for example, it is having 85% moisture. 85% moisture and 15% will be the total solids. So what is the, based on the total solids, you have to maintain the loading rate. For example, if you are maintaining a loading rate of 3 kg of VS per cubic meter, that has to be maintained. If you are maintaining the loading rate, means that loading rate has to be maintained for each and every waste. That's all. Digester is common. See, for example, some waste will be having more moisture, some waste will be having less moisture. So if it is having less moisture, more waste will be added. If it is having more less moisture, then the waste will be limited.
So next question is there any
No, once again,
sorry,
once again, for example,
sorry.
if it is, if you are having 1000 kg of waste, if you are having 1000 kg of waste, it is having 80% moisture, and then it is 20% dry matter, means it is for 1000 kg we are having 200 kg of dry matter. 200 kg of dry matter. So this is, for example, 200 kg of TS, total solids is there. So this 200 kg of total solids you are going to feed. In this 200 kg, what is the amount of volatile solids availability? So volatile solids, what is the amount of, if it is 9, it is having 90% volatile solids, then it is 180 kg of volatile solids is available. If it is 1000 kg of waste having 20% moisture, it is 200 kg of total solids, that is dry matter. Then this 200 kg of dry matter, if you are having 90% PS, means then it is 180 kg of VS is there. So for this digester, if you are adding 180 kg of VS, means then that 180 kg of VS has to be maintained. For example, if the same 1000 kg of waste, we are taking some other day, see waste, food waste will be having day to day, it will changes. Day to day it will changes. For example, today the food waste or cow dung will be having some other moistures. Some today it will be 15%, the next day it will be varying. It is 14, 12, something like that. Well, the only thing is you have to maintain the loading rate based on the volatile solids. And then
So next question is there any environmental issues associated with the biogas generation plant? And what is the size of your plant? What is a typical size of your biogas generation plant?
No, the biogas size, minimum size, it can be from 0.5 cubic meter. For it is, if you want to utilize that, we are giving domestic biogas plants also. The domestic biogas plant with the minimum size, minimum scale we are giving is 0.5 cubic meter. We are giving from 0.5 cubic meter to we are giving to 260 tons. It can be any capacity. But the only thing is, based on the availability of raw material in a radius of 25 kilometer to 50 kilometer radius, you have to determine the plant capacity. So if we are going for a commercial scale production, for example, if you are considering Namakkal is, we have plenty of poultry litter. So where the availability is 6,000 to 7,000 tons of poultry litter can be generated and it is available per day. And then how much you can able to collect in the particular radius. For example, it is 20 kilometer radius. So what is the cost? So based on this, you have to decide the capacity. Or else if you're having your own capacity, for example, own waste like industries, or if you're having fruit processing, or if you're having your own hotels, so what is the volume of waste generated? So it can be anything from 2 kg to 200 tons or 300 tons we can process.
So what is the typical cost of your biogas generation plant, sir, for establishing?
For what is the application? So either if you're having your own waste, means, okay, I'm having my waste for, I'm having a hotel, I'm having an industry, I'm having a dairy farm, or I'm having a poultry litter. So what is the volume of waste generated? And then what is the application? What is the demand you have? So either you have a power demand, or you have your LPG is consuming, you have any process fuel consumption is there for LPG or diesel something. So what is the amount you have to, what is the amount? And then what is the waste availability? So based on this, what will be the gas generated, and then how much will be replaced? So based on this, for example, if it is a 1000 kg plant, if it is wanted semi-automatic and then cost effective, means then it will be 21 lakhs, 22 lakhs. And then if you want a domestic household plant, if you want a 0.5 cubic meter, then it is 18,000 is the basic price. And then if you are going to 1 ton plant, it is something like that. And then if you want to go for a bottling, I want to make it as a commercially viable model. And then I want, what is the minimum viable model for a biogas bottling plant? That means feasible means if it is 25 tons per day, 25 tons per day is minimum. Or else we can determine the gas availability. If it is 2000 to 2500 cubic meter or above 1500 cubic meter is gas generation is there, availability is there, means then you can go for a biogas bottling. Then the cost for that biogas bottling up to from 1500 to 2500 cubic meter means then it will be coming around 3.5 crores to 4 crores. So everything is based on the raw material availability, and then what is the use of biogas, in what way you are going to use the biogas, either power or you are going to use for our own captive consumption, or you are going to purify the gas, fill in cylinders, and then sell it to someone else.
So how much amount of energy can we generate using this biogas generation plant, sir? How much amount of load can be met using this biogas generation plant?
No, it is the what is it? Actually, the question is different. Anyway, this how much amount of energy can be generated means, for example, if it is a 1,000 kg plant, for example, if it is a 1,000
Sir,
kg plant.
for example, with respect to your plant, how much is the
Yes.
daily energy generated by your plant, sir?
See, if you are considering directly the biogas, for example, if a 1 ton is generating 140 cubic meter, then calorific value for biogas for cubic meter is 4,500. You can simply calculate the energy generation. And then if you want to go for conversion means electricity, or if you want to substitute some other fossil fuels. So if you want to generate electricity means, electricity generation mainly depends on the type of gensets, and then the size of the gen. For example, it is 25 kVA, 30 kVA, 40 kVA gensets. If it is a lower efficiency gensets we are using means, then the efficiency of the gensets will be 28%, 30%. So based on that, the 1 cubic meter of biogas will generate 1 unit to 1.2 units. That is 1.2 kilowatt. If it is a 1 ton plant, if it is generating 140 cubic meter, and then you can generate 140 kilowatt. So if your plant capacity is higher side, for example, if you are having 10 ton of waste, and then if you are generating somewhat around 1,000 cubic meter, 1,500 cubic meter of gas, then if you are going for some branded, and then it is Mitsubishi or Caterpillar, something bigger capacity branded engines means that engine efficiency is something different. Our Kirloskar engine efficiency is something different, and then our Ashok Leyland efficiency is something different. When you are going for a Caterpillar or GE, then the engine efficiency is 40 to 42%. Then what happens at the time? Then 1 cubic meter of biogas will generate in roughly a thumb rule. Cummins will generate 1.5 to 1.7 kilowatt per cubic meter. Caterpillar will generate 1.75 to 1.88 units of per cubic meter. And then if it is going for a MWM, it is generating 2 to 2.1 kilowatt per cubic meter of biogas. This is varying. So this is when you can go for a MWM, GE and all. If you are having more than 1,500 cubic meter of biogas, more than 1,500 and 1,500.
Yes, sir.
If you are using more than, if you are having 1,500 cubic meter of biogas, then you can go for these bigger capacity engines. If you're having your biogas generation is less, if it is for a 500 kg plant, a 1 ton plant, or 2 ton plant, then we have to go for a smaller rating engines of 25 kVA, 20 kVA gensets like Kirloskar or Ashok Leyland. So where the efficiency is less, and then our output is also less.
So is there any environmental impact because of this biogas generation, sir? Because
Yes,
since we are burning fossil fuels or waste products, is there any possibility of environmental issues associated?
The main reason why we are going for biogas is due to emission reduction only. So the main use of biogas is where we are burning the diesel, where you are burning the fossil furnace oil, where our carbon dioxide emission and the NOx and SOx emissions are higher side. While burning this while burning this biogas, your emission is reduced compared to diesel and compared to furnace oil, compared to petrol.
Okay, sir.
That is the reason. Yes.
Participants, any other questions to be asked from your side? Anyone who has any questions to ask, just post it in the chat box. என்ன க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிடலாமா? Okay, okay. So one more question. What are the
Yes.
present research activities going in this biogas generation? What are the present research activities going on in this biogas generation field?
Okay. Research activities. Uh, Such activities. There are a lot of activities going on. Mainly in generation side, there are a lot of activities based on the different feedstocks. Different feedstock like banana pedangle. They have not utilized. There is no one is utilizing banana pedangle. So what are all the raw materials? Like food waste, it can be easily utilized. It can be easily handled. Vegetable waste can be easily handled. So apart from this, we are not using banana pedangle. So how to utilize this banana pedangle? And then we are not using what is this agricultural residues, so which is effective, and then how it can be utilized, processed, and then how it can be utilized. And then apart from this, in generation side, gas generation side, so how it can be refined in the sense how to increase the methane purity, either using VPSA, pressure sink adsorption, or it is water scrubbing, or it is membrane separation. So that activities it is going on. And then apart from this, um, what is based on the loading rate, what is the maximum loading rate that can be achieved based on the digester sizing, and then based on the loading rate, so what is the maximum loading rate that can be taken. And then one thing is, if it is digested, and then based on the output, what is the manure quality. So what is the manure quality for food waste, what is the manure quality for vegetable waste, what is the manure quality for slaughterhouse waste, and then banana pedangle, and then rumen waste. So that activity is going on. So manure quality parameters and quantity parameters. And then if what is the, if you are maintaining 45-degree, what is the generation. And then if you are maintaining 35-degree, what is the gas generation. And then what is the energy consumption for the biogas plant for 45-degree. And then what is the energy consumption for 35-degree biogas based operation, and then which is effective. So that is going on. And then based on this particle size, so if it is particle size, if you are feeding a 20 particle size, what is the gas generation. If I am feeding the particles at less than 5 what is the gas